Hello, my name is Elisa Solis-Maart. I'm going to be teaching a tutorial on how to use Lightroom and develop a photograph with the tone and presence features. So here's the photograph that I'd like to work on. The first thing I'm going to do is to create a virtual copy so that I leave the original photo untouched. So why don't we work on the second copy? So we'll go up to develop. A lot of people, what they like to do at first is hit the auto button because that will show you what the computer thinks that the preferred settings would be. I think that personally this is too bright, so why don't we Command Z that. So the first thing I'd like to touch on is exposure. Because it is a little bit of a darker photo, I'd like to increase exposure, but not too much so that it doesn't seem unnatural. I tend to maybe play around a little with the contrast, not too much because I don't want the colors to seem too sharp or too bright. My next setting to see would be highlights. The highlights, you can either go really hard into the whites or really hard into the blacks. I tend to generally keep it 3 to 8 above or below. Your shadows will demonstrate how high or low you want the darker areas to seem. So I think that by looking at her hair, if you increase the shadow, it really demonstrates her full frame. So maybe keeping it a little bit higher in this circumstance wouldn't be a bad idea. The whites and blacks. So let's go too high and too low. And you can see that when you go really high, it really exemplifies the light. When you go too low, it almost leaves the photo the same. It doesn't really change it too much. So maybe just doing a little bit higher, not too much. And the blacks. If we're gonna do the whites, we should probably leave the blacks alone then. So now onto presence. The clarity of the photo can always be increased or decreased. But as you see, you tend to lose or gain far too much texture on the photo. So if I do touch any of it, I either leave it higher or lower. In this case, I'd like to leave it a little bit lower just because the photo is now beginning to look a little too grainy. So by touching it up a bit and getting rid of the graininess that was on her face, as that will be the main focal point, I think that the clarity being a little bit lower would be okay. When it comes to vibrancy and saturation, a lot of people like to play really with the saturation. I usually actually leave it alone because the vibrancy is more of what I'd like to focus on. So I'm just trying to get this to 0. So the vibrancy will exemplify the colors that are already in the photo, whereas the saturation really plays around with the reds and the blacks. So it'll either add too much red or get rid of it all. So the vibrancy, I think that if we can show you the max and the minimums, you can really see her shirt and the red show off, whereas the rest of the colors that maybe aren't red are taken off. And here, you can really see the brightness of the red. So I'm going to bring it down. Maybe keep it 9. Let's keep it at 9. And that's how you use the tone and presence modes. Thank you.